Hello, everybody. I'm Chuck Gibson. It is time now for the next edition of Tracking Evagoras Papasavvas Racing. And today we have Evagoras behind the wheel, but of his regular car. He's on the road right now and on the phone with me. So we're going to be careful while we record this special Loveland Beacon podcast. Welcome, Evagoras Papasavvas, and congratulations on the results last weekend.
Yeah, thank you for having me once again, Chuck.
Well, hey, it's my pleasure, and I know the listeners love to hear what's going on. So, gosh, what a great start for you at NOLA Motorsports Park last weekend in New Orleans with 3 races. And actually, just for those who might be tuning in for the first time and understanding, racing in the FR America's Championship Series for the first time, basically getting in that formula car for the first time during that race weekend preparation. So tell us a little bit, just share a little bit about, that first day of test and then practice and qualifying. How about that?
Yeah, so the first day of testing, like you mentioned, I've never been in this car before, and actually this car was it hasn't really been raced either, like the car itself in previous seasons, so it was a brand new car. So there was a lot to work through just to make sure everything's working, and I did have to get a custom seat fitted for me, so we did that actually at the track instead of at the shop. But yeah, so we did have, I didn't do as many laps as I'd like to do during testing and practice, just because we were going through the issues, but I wasn't too upset because I'm glad that we got it done out of the way so that way, we'd be good to race.
Right. Well, you know what? And that's, I didn't even think about that. Getting that, form-fitted custom seat and getting that done, essentially trackside instead of at the shop. Wow. That's something special.
Yeah, and actually it's a lot more important than people think because for the first day, sorry, someone just cut me off. Lost my train of thought. But
For the listeners, a reminder, Evagoras is currently, on the streets of Cincinnati heading to, and I got to throw this in, heading to dance practice, right?
Yeah, Greek dance practice. Yeah, for the Greek festival.
But back to the racing point, and be careful out there on the road. Don't worry about that's first, then talking to me. But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so it's a lot more important than people think having a custom molded seat. The first 2 sessions I did with someone else's seat, and I wasn't comfortable in the car at all.
Oh, wow.
Frankly, and it was just I wasn't feeling the car out like I should be. When I wasn't feeling any car setup things wise. I was just kind of all over the place, right? It just wasn't comfortable.
Wow.
That's the first thing, right? You need to be comfortable in the car before you can start. Really pushing the car and figuring out setup things and racing.
Right.
So.
Well, even for us, when we get in our car to pull out of the garage or down the driveway and go up the street, you set your seat, you set your mirrors, you got to get comfortable before you even think about taking it out on the road. So yeah, it's not the same thing, but there's a little similarity there.
Yeah, exactly. It's the exact same principle. You can think of it the exact same way, just in a race where everything's a little bit exaggerated more.
Sure.
In terms of what you feel and what you don't feel.
So how was that? So, once you got, I can't even imagine going through that, trackside. But anyway, they got it done, and now you're in your car with your seat, and you're taking, this is like last Thursday, a week ago today, you're actually in your formula car for the first time, taking laps around the NOLA Motorsports Park course. What's that like for you?
Yeah, the very first few laps, it was a little bit different than my previous experience at NOLA Motorsports Park, just because they had some layout changes and some different rules like track limits where the car can't pass a certain point on the track, or else it's ruled unfair. So also had the track itself, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the last time I was there was 2024, and now this year, 2 years later, to put it nicely, the track has definitely shown its wear over the years. It's definitely got a lot bumpier and a lot more rough on the cars. And as a driver, in the first few sessions, yeah, you feel the bumps, and it's not very comfortable for sure. But then once you get going, you're a day in, you get adjusted to the bumps, and I mean, it's just normal for the driver. But for the car, I mean, just going through that beating the entire week, it really took a toll on some of the cars.
Oh wow! And I didn't even. I forgot because I knew. I was thinking that just last year you were at NOLA, but no, it was actually 2 years ago in 2024. While still racing the USF 2000 series, I forgot about that. You weren't there at NOLA last season, so that's a whole stretch of time between for the and again you were very polite. The track is showing its wear. I was going to say, it's an extra year for deterioration of track conditions, but that's those are important factors. Well, so anyway, you get through those first laps, you get a feel for the track, and you're starting to get a feel for that Formula car. How about qualifying? What the heck happened on qualifying day? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so qualifying, I actually didn't know this until after the session. But so after the last practice, wherever you finish, that's your starting grid basically for qualifying. Right. So there's a qualifying for qualifying. And so since I was first in the last practice in practice 2, I started first for qualifying, and that basically meant that when the track goes green, I'm the first one out.
Right.
Right? Which was obviously in my favor because I didn't have to worry about making a gap 2 cars in front of me and being held up and this and that. So I was able to just go out and do my proper tire warm-up procedure and just put down some good clean laps.
Nice. Well, you know what? So the answer to the question. So there wasn't a separate qualifying. The qualified position was based on the practice finish.
Yeah. So basically, so wherever you finish in the last practice, that's kind of like the grid in quotes, basically, like the grid for the actual qualifying session itself. But yeah, so since I was first, I was able to just go out there, do my proper tire warm up, and just basically just lock in on the last in the car and no distractions. So it ended up working out.
Well, and I told you offline before we started recording this session, which, by the way, for the listeners, Evagoras and I are recording this podcast session at 6:30 on Thursday night. By the time you hear it, it's going to be Friday. But nonetheless, as we're talking at 6:30, before we started recording Evagoras, I teased you about you get the pole position, and it's this. It's tough making passes. So getting the pole position puts you in a very good spot at the start of a race to earn that victory. So when I was teasing you offline before we started recording, I was like, you start 1 and you finished 6th in that first race, and I said, what's the matter you? So all kidding aside, tell us about that race 1. I guess there were some things that happened in race 1. So tell us about that first race for you in the FR Americas.
Yeah, so race 1, there was a lot of new things. I've never done a standing start. I've never done a lot of things. I've never raced the car in terms of with traffic and with other cars. So I didn't know what to expect. So just going right into it. First of all, the car setup. We did make some changes from qualifying just to perfect it. Now, I was very quick in qualifying, but obviously you always want to go faster. You could always go faster. So we did some changes to try and go faster, but it ended up exaggerating the changes and went the other direction. So the car didn't feel up to par exactly. And then we also had some mechanical issues where while the car was still cold, so in the beginning of the race when we would do race restarts, I wouldn't be able to rev all the way out and use all of the rev range to go all the way to the end of the whatever it is, 6,000, 7,000 RPM. So I had to short shift, and basically that kind of just cuts power and things like that. So down the straight, I was a little bit limited on power, and that's how I lost my position.
I got you. That makes sense. Well, so you said standing start. So you guys don't do, you're not like running under yellow and everybody's going and moving and then they drop the green and out, off you go. It's a
no, they don't do that. These starts they're Formula One starts. So we do our normal warm up lap like we would, and then we get into these pit boxes on the front straight that we get guided into by our mechanic. They're sitting right there on the pit wall behind the fence,
Right.
kind of telling us how close we are because how low we sit in the car, we can't actually see the line that we're at. So we just got to get lined up, and then we just got to look at our mechanic, and he's going to tell us when to stop, basically right on the line.
Wow. So that, I didn't even think about the formula start. I did not even think about that. So that as you said, that was something new for you. Well, the bottom line is, so a little bit of mechanical, a change in setup had some impact on how things went in race one. But still, hey, you're still, top 10, number 6. That's not terrible for the first time in your formula car. But what is amazing, tell us what happened next in race 2, starting from the 6th position.
Yeah, so starting from the 6th position, literally going into it, as I sat in the car, I put my helmet on, I thought to myself, like, I have no idea what can happen. I genuinely had no idea what can happen during that race, so I was just gonna go with whatever happens, and that's all I could really do. So I had a pretty good start this time. I learned from my first start. So I had a pretty good start, and then I was just kind of calm, collected, one by one, just passing cars, lap by lap, and I was able to get myself right into second place. And then there was a little bit of a gap to the leader, so it took me about two, 3 laps to hunt down the leader, and then once I got behind the leader, I was just putting pressure on him, and the leader was actually my teammate, so it was just there putting pressure on him, and because that's really all you can do when you're too far behind to make a pass. All you can do is just show yourself in the mirror and hopefully pressure them into the mistake. And something did happen to the driver in front, and I was able to go around him on the front straight, going on to the final lap of the race. So yeah, led the final lap, and crossed the line in first place.
So very simple. You led the most important lap to lead of any auto race.
Yeah, the last lap, yeah.
Lead the last lap. Who cares what happened? And of course, in race number 1, just again for the listeners, 14 laps as it turned, and these are timed races, correct?
Yeah.
So in race number 1, the way the timing worked out, you guys ran 14 laps, all of you that were in the lead groups. Race number 2, you were up to 16 lap total. And as you said, you led lap number 16, and you very coolly and collectively made those passes. Anything significant stand out for you in making the passes during that race, or what you saw in front of you and how you worked your way through the field?
Nothing really. At the end of the day, passing. The same thing with the car, really. At the end of the day, it's a race car. I'm a race car driver, so I'll figure it out. And that's really the mentality going into it. Like, it's just another race. So that's just how I took it, and I just passed each car one by one and got myself in a good spot for the win.
Yeah. Well, hey, congratulations on that first win in the FR America's Championship competition, coming in only your second race, which then, of course, that sets you up for the grid, starting in the second position for race number 3. And I'll let you tell everybody if they haven't already seen or heard the results, but I'll let you tell them. So take us through race number 3 and start with, so where did you finish in race 3?
So starting race 3, I think so in race 2 I got the fastest lap as well. Right. So I won and got the fastest lap, which meant I started first for race 3. So for race 3, once again, I didn't have the best start. I was kind of just on and off with the start that weekend. This was my very first time doing these station starts. So I lost a few positions there. And that race, the way that they do the tires throughout the weekend, we use way less amount of tires than we would in USF or in Indy Next. Right. So we only had one set of tires left, and they were really, really, really used old tires from the 2 previous races. So I mean, that's like it was pretty bad towards the end. So it was really all about just managing the tires to the best of my ability.
Right.
And yeah, that's what the whole game was about. So I did lose some positions at the start, and then I found myself in third place, and there was a gap to the cars behind me from defending to them, and then they got in a battle, so I was able to pull away. And then the cars in front as well kind of pulled away as I was battling the cars behind. So I was just kind of like, there was no one really in front of me, no one really behind me, so I was just taking care of the tires, managing the tires, no pressure, and yeah, finished the race crossing the line in third place. And yeah, I mean those tires that I was on were like probably the most used tires of like I've ever raced on. I mean they were down to the cord of the tire, so it was basically I wasn't racing on any more rubber. Just kind of burned all that off. So it was pretty bad, but it was a good experience to have to be able to manage tires.
Yeah. Well, so that was now you finished on the podium again, correct?
Yes.
And the number finished the third position, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I had it right because I don't have that all that information. And then so Evagoras once again. So first time out in the Formula Regional America Series, you got a victory in race 2 on the podium in the P1 position, and then a number 3 P3 position and on the podium after the third race. So a first place finish, a third place finish, on the podium twice, 2 pole position starts. What do you say?
I mean, I'd say it wasn't bad at all. I'd say it was a pretty good start to the year.
Yeah. Well, can you let me ask you this, because I'll take you back to that second race where you claimed your first victory in the Formula, in the FR Americas. We'd be remiss if we didn't say in that Crosslink Motorsports car for the Crosslink team, you claimed your first victory. What are your emotions when you finish that lap in first place, that last lap of the day? What was that like for you?
I mean, it was just like a huge, just sense of relief and just a bunch of emotions and just all that passion, kind of just let it out. And yeah, it was really nice to cross the line at first, especially after the more difficult offseason we've had with not really knowing where we're going to race and money and funding and all of this. And to be able to get the funding, first of all, I'm very grateful for it. And thank you to all the people that work with me to get the funding. And then also just crossing the line and making it happen. At my first race weekend, there was a huge sigh of relief and just so much, just everything. I just let it out. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I wasn't even thinking about that, but wow, yeah, that must have been a whole variety of strong emotions. And I've seen the photos. I saw that fist pump.
Yeah.
So that's outstanding, and the smile on your face says it all. So congratulations again on a wonderful start. As we get into the final minutes here of this edition of Tracking Evagoras Papasavvas Racing Evagoras, I want to ask you. So next up is going to be the Road America in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And that's about just about 1 month from now, May the 14th through the 17th. What are you thinking going into that now that you've got a Formula race weekend behind you and preparation, for the next 3 or 4 weeks as you get ready to go there? What are you thinking?
Yeah, now I'm much more confident going into it. I know what to expect. I know my competition. I know the car. I know how the races work, and just how the series works in general, the rules and all that. So. Yeah, I'm ready to really go at it at Road America and, just give it my all and see what happens. Hopefully we grab a couple more race wins.
Yeah, well, correct me if I'm wrong, and I wrote this in one of the update stories in the last few days, so correct me if I was wrong, but I said, next up, Road America, a familiar track for Evagoras and one of your favorite places. Is that right?
Yeah, Road America, I've been there a lot. It's a very nice area. It's a very nice area, very nice track itself. It's very well taken care of. It's been renovated very recently and frequently, so Yeah, I'm excited to drive this car on a track that's been taken really good care of in a really nice area. So, yeah.
Well, outstanding. Hey, have a good month of practice. And I guess I have to throw in one other thing. So for some listeners who may not know this, so Evagoras, you are about to be a graduated high school senior. You're graduating in what is graduation weekend? When is that?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. My graduation weekend is on the same weekend as Road America, so I'll be missing.
I was thinking about that earlier today, and I thought, I hope it's not the same weekend. Well, hey, congratulations on high school graduation, even if you're not going to be participating in the ceremonies and everything with the classmates. But I think everybody will forgive you for missing that when you have another great race weekend up at Road America. So wishing you the best of luck at Road America and looking forward to our next edition of Tracking Evagoras Papasavvas Racing after you get back from Wisconsin.
All right. Thank you, Chuck. It was a pleasure talking to you again.
Hey, always a pleasure, Evagoras. Thank you so much for taking the time. Finish that safe drive to your dance practice. And I can't wait to talk to you and see what happens at Road America for you. And for the listeners, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, I'm Chuck Gibson. That was Evagoras Papasavvas. And this is Tracking Evagoras Papasavvas Racing on Loveland Beacon Podcast.